George Weah was a monster on the pitch. Raw power, electric pace, and skill that made even the best defenders look helpless. From the dusty back streets of Liberia to the brightest lights of the Champions League, he dominated everywhere. He didn't just play the game, he ruled it. And when he lifted the Ballon d'Or, the world finally paid attention. But before the glory, before the headlines, before the crown, there was a boy with nothing, training in silence, grinding in the shadows, building the legend we almost forgot. Born on the 1st of October 1966 in Claratown, Monrovia, the capital city of Liberia, George Weah was one of three children born to his parents. Life was a struggle for Weah and his three siblings as his dad barely made enough money from his day job as a mechanic. And though his mother tried to support with whatever little money she made from her petty trading, their family were barely getting by. But young George never let the hardship he was being raised in get in the way of his love for football. He often played barefooted with other kids with makeshift football they had made from whatever waste materials they could find. For George, football was his escape from reality, a reality of growing up in poverty, a reality of growing up in a country torn apart by civil war. As if things could not get any worse, his parents got separated and little George was sent to his paternal grandmother, who had to raise him alongside 12 other children. It was by no means easy, but George found a way to keep his love for football, and it did not take long for people to notice how incredibly talented he was. Where would get his first real taste of proper football opportunity when he made his debut for his local club, Young Survivors, at the start of the 1981-82 season at 15 years of age. Immediately he showed how talented he was as he would go on to score a brace in his debut for his new club. George Weah was such a revelation for Young Survivors that by the end of his third season, he had helped the club to two promotions in just 3 seasons, allowing them to move from the fourth tier of Liberian football to the second. By this time, it was clear that George Weah was destined for the top. His heroic performances for Young Survivors would earn him a move to Bong Range United in 1984, a club in the Liberian Premier League where he would spend just a season before catching the attention of mighty Barrow, the biggest club in Liberian Premier League. But for whatever odd reason, he could not make the starting 11 regularly at his new club, despite almost always scoring when given the opportunity. This infuriated George Weah because he hated being on the bench as a player. By the end of his sole season at Mighty Barrow, he had scored 7 goals in just 10 games. On February 23, 1986, during his time at Mighty Barrow, Weah would make his international debut for Liberia against Burkina Faso at the age of 19. This would mark the start of a long and impactful international career for his country. After just one season at Mighty Barrow, he would go on to sign for the club's biggest rivals, Invincible 11, who, unlike Mighty Barrow, did not sleep on Weah's talent. Weah made his debut for Invincible 11 during the start of the 1986-87 season and quickly became a fan favorite, scoring 24 goals in just 23 games, helping the team win the league title while clinching both the top scorer and most valuable player awards in the process. But it was after his move abroad to Cameroonian side Tonnerre Yaoundé the following season that Weah began to get international visibility. Impressed by his unique blend of power, pace, and goal-scoring prowess, the then Cameroon national team coach Claude Leroy recommended George Weah to his friend Arsene Wenger, who was the coach at AS Monaco at the time. Arsene would later fly to Africa to see Weah's talent firsthand, and almost there and then he signed George Weah for AS Monaco for a fee of around €150,000. George Weah would go on to score in his debut for AS Monaco in a 2-1 loss at home to Auxerre in match week 7 of the 1988-89 season. He quickly became one of the key members of the squad, scoring 17 goals through the course of that campaign, scoring crucial match winners at home to RC Paris and Stade Lavallois. He would go on to win the African Player of the Year award in 1989 for his incredible performances that season, marking the first of 3 of those awards. During his time at Monaco, Weah continued to put in one great performance after another, but he truly showed how much of a star he was in the 1990-91 season when he led AS Monaco to the Coupe de France title, providing 5 goals and 2 assists in 6 appearances, bringing his tally to 18 goals and 5 assists for AS Monaco that season. Considering how stats-centered the game is today, you could easily make the mistake of looking down on Weah's career, especially because his numbers do not really look elite compared to today's numbers. But you would be wrong, because his game was truly beyond goals and assists. Weah had an incredible work ethic, often attacking and tracking back to help his team defensively. Weah was not just a goal scorer, his overall game involved skillful play, creativity, and a willingness to sacrifice for and contribute to the team in various ways. So in 1992, after another fine season for Monaco, in which he contributed 23 goals and 8 assists, PSG would sign him for 6.5 million euros, which was a massive jump from his previous transfer fee of 150,000 euros, suggesting how much he had grown in value as a player since his move to Europe. He would go on to score 23 goals and 2 assists in his debut season for PSG. And although Weah and PSG would fail to win the Ligue 1 title this season, they were successful in the Coupe de France, with Weah scoring crucial goals against RC Strasbourg in virtually the last kick of extra time to send PSG to the next round, and another goal in PSG's quarter-final game against FC Bordeaux to help his team advance to the semis with a 2-0 victory. Although he did not score in the finals against FC Nantes, his contribution to helping the team win their first piece of silverware in 7 years was undeniable. However, the following 1993-94 season, Weah and PSG finally lifted the Ligue 1 trophy, with Weah contributing 14 goals and 5 assists through the course of that season. This was special because it was only PSG's second league title and Weah's first league title in Europe. His performances this season were enough to earn him a second African Player of the Year award. In his third and final season with PSG, he contributed 18 goals and 4 assists through the course of the campaign, helping PSG win another Coupe de France and the League Cup. But it was his performances in PSG's deep run in the Champions League that was more impressive. George Weah scored 8 goals in the Champions League that season, helping PSG to the semi-finals and becoming the highest goal scorer of the tournament, putting up some amazing individual performances like this wonder goal against Bayern Munich. That summer, Fabio Capello's AC Milan would secure Weah's signature, making him a part of their star-studded side, which included stars like Roberto Baggio and Dejan Savicevic. AC Milan were building a squad capable of dominating the Champions League. In Weah's first season in Milan, he finished as the club's top scorer, helping the team win the Serie A title and eventually winning yet another African Player of the Year award. It was this season that Weah would produce one of the most memorable moments of his time in Milan. During a league game against Hellas Verona, Weah would expertly bring down the corner from inside his own penalty area before embarking on an extraordinary solo run across the length of his pitch, weaving through opposing defenders before scoring one of the most beautiful goals in football history. He would go on to win the coveted Ballon d'Or for his outstanding performances for both PSG and AC Milan that year, becoming the first and still the only player to have won the award while representing an African national team. Although Weah and AC Milan never found success in Europe like they had hoped, he helped the team to yet another Serie A title in the 1998-99 season. But by the following season, Weah's output was declining as it looked like he was past his physical prime. Weah would be loaned out to Chelsea in January for the remainder of the 1990-2000 season, where he would contribute 5 goals and 2 assists in 15 games, scoring in his debut against City rivals Tottenham and further league goals against top opposition sides like Wimbledon and Liverpool. He would also score crucial goals against Gillingham and Leicester City in Chelsea's successful FA Cup run, helping the team to a 5th place finish in the league and FA Cup glory. Despite this, his loan with Chelsea was not made permanent and he had to return to Milan before making a permanent move to Manchester City. Weah signed for then newly promoted City on August 1st, 2000. His time at City was short-lived and far from memorable as he would fall out with the manager Joe Royal for being left on the bench too often. He would leave City in October 2000, less than 3 months after signing, having scored 4 times in 11 games. He would go on to have spells at Marseille in France and later Al Jazeera in the UAE, where he would remain until he retired in 2003 at the age of 37. Since making his debut for the Liberian national team against Burkina Faso on the 23rd February 1986, Weah played 75 games, scoring 18 goals. Representing one of the smaller nations in world football and perennial underdogs, he didn't have much of a platform to shine on the international stage. Weah did so much to support the national squad. Aside from being the team's star player, he also later coached the squad and even funded his national side to a large extent. Despite his efforts, he was unsuccessful in helping Liberia qualify for a single FIFA World Cup, falling just a point short in qualifying for the 2002 tournament. However, he did help Liberia qualify for the Africa Cup of Nations on 2 occasions, where he represented his country in the 1996 and 2002 editions of the tournament. Although Liberia failed to make it out of their group both times, suffering first-round eliminations. Weah was named by several media outlets as one of the best players to never play at the World Cup. George Weah's story reminds us that many times greatness is not born. It is forged in struggle, in passion, and in the unshakable belief that no dream is ever too big. And as he rose to become a global icon, he didn't just chase his own destiny. He kicked down the doors for generations of African talents to follow.